Could Steven Spielberg really know a little bit more than he's leading on to? That is the topic here today. And in a new book, it looks like that there's more reveal that Steven Spielberg's beliefs into what the UAP phenomenon really is, how educated he is, and maybe some of the stuff that he did in Close Encounters. Well, thank you for joining us here today on Down to Earth. This is my Monday through Friday UAP news updates. And one of the big stories that has been going on recently is that Steven Spielberg has a new UFO related film that comes out. I believe it's in 2026, I think, and it stars Emily Blunt. And the question has been, A, what is the movie going to be about? Is it going to be that more kind of fantastical, War of the World, E.T. type phenomenon movie where it's strictly Hollywood, or is it going to be a little bit more Close Encounters, taking stuff that both Hynek and Jacques Vallée who were consultants on the film, and is he going to add that stuff, or is it going to be even more so and diving more into the disclosure side? And there's a movie he did that I thought was brilliant called The Post, and is he going to make a movie similar to that? Because when he did an interview recently, he's certainly educated on it. He certainly knows a lot and talks to a lot of people about it. And this is an interesting article that came out today. This is a tweet by Vicky Verma. Filmmaker Steven Spielberg believed that UFOs were most likely time travelers coming back from the future to prevent catastrophes. In the book Conversations with Mark Frost, author David Bushman reveals that Steven Spielberg shared his experiences from making Close Encounters, where he worked with Alan Hynek, former head of Project Blue Book. Spielberg believes there's definitely something to the UFO phenomenon, with Spielberg suggesting that time travel could be involved. He hypothesized that people from the future might be trying to prevent catastrophes such as the development of atomic weapons, given the high number of UFO sightings near nuclear sites. This is not surprising when you look at the scene that's not really, it's not addressed as much, but in Close Encounters, at the end when they're getting off the ship, there's these old-timey, where pilots wearing the old-timey stuff, and that was supposed to be the hint and a nod towards this. That's exactly kind of what this is, time travel and that aspect of it. And I know that Spielberg kind of played around with time travel with the Indiana Jones movie, and of course he was the producer of the Back to the Future series, and so he's definitely got that mindset. And it's the stuff, though, of the conversations that he probably had with Hynek, and things that he probably learned that maybe he couldn't talk about, and maybe other stuff that he could talk about. And it's why I'm so fascinated about what this movie will be. And I really do hope that he adds more stuff, because Close Encounters was probably the most true to, because he had consultants on there that had been studying this and been worked for the government and had access. And so that's the most accurate out of all the movies that he's done. And I wonder if he'll do that again this time around. And it's why I wanted to cover this today, because when you look at this particular topic and the idea, and this time travel hypothesis, by the way, it's not a Steven Spielberg one. This is tons of them. Jesse Michaels has had an interview recently with someone saying the same exact thing, that they think that what these things have been are time travelers, and that could be future humans, these things that are flying. And it's not when you think about it, like right away, you can go and say, well, that's just science fiction. That's just science fiction coming from a great mind in Steven Spielberg. It's science fiction. And you're not wrong to think that, but the other side of it is, hypothetically, if there are things in 4,000 years from now, 4,000 years, let's say that we get lucky and we don't blow ourselves up with nukes. And in 4,000 years from now, the type of technology that we have, and whatever this species eventually evolves into, says, okay, well, we know how to go back in time now. Well, why don't we go back and stop when we almost blew ourselves up and all those stupid things that we made? Why don't we go back and kind of monitor ourselves? Those, the less evolved versions of ourselves from 4,000 years ago. Can we do that now? Yeah, but you got to be careful because you got to do this and this. Do I believe that? Not necessarily. But to say, no, we don't know the way space and time works. We don't. You think you do because you just go about your day and you wake up, you have breakfast, you go out, you do this, you do that, you go to sleep. But by the time you get home from work, whatever it is, and you go, oh, that's just how time works, it's how the day works, and that's what it is. You start out young, you get old, you die. And we don't know. That's the mysteries of the universe, right? So I like the hypothesis of this, and I would love, I mean, listen, it is a dream of mine to talk to Steven Spielberg about this stuff. I mean, yeah, everybody talks to him about Jaws and Indiana Jones, and would I love to talk to him about that stuff? Of course I would. But I'd rather talk to him about this stuff. Like this, the kind of stuff that I want to pick his brain about. It doesn't even have to be on air. I'd just love to have a cup of coffee with the guy and see, like, what do you know, Steven? What do you know? And I hope that he puts a little of that stuff in that UFO movie. I really do. I'm really hoping that it's going to be something, because as I've mentioned this before, if this Schumer and Rounds bill gets passed in its form, in its true form, in December, and we actually do, people who are watching this, our lifetime, this generation, if we get disclosure, and there is proof that we're not the only things in this universe, right? And let's say that happens within the next year and a half. Let's just say, hypothetically, if there's a proof of that, if Steven Spielberg's movie comes out in 2026, and we already know that there's this stuff out there, we'll be like, okay, yeah, that's what's your movie about now? You got to make that. You got to switch the whole premise up. So I'm hoping maybe he knows more. Maybe he knows what's coming. And maybe by the time that he plans it out, we'll already have known. That's fun. It's fun to speculate. Anyway, thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being here each and every day, tuning in. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on the Down to Earth feed. We'll be back here on Monday. So thanks for joining us here today. See you very soon. Peace out.